Right, young Conan for a editorial no emremo. I think that and Rami are very disappointed. Very disappointed. Senegal a match and Romo boy and mommy monfanto so mame. So another editorial. I'm just looking at one thing I hear very disappointing. Why African teams have never been able to progress past the quarterfinals of the World Cup. We've never been to the semi-finals. Even Asia. No, maybe I try mamon try. Yes, I said to you. Asia cried to me a semi-finals in South Korea. Asia. So my worry is because of Senegal game. I felt say Senegal should have been able to draw
at least
at worst draw against Netherlands and Russia. Senegal should have more shot on target. The shot on target at Netherlands for both second half. That was the first goal. They dominated play. And this has been very prevalent with African teams. Very particular about us. Since 1930, no African team has progressed beyond quarterfinals. And it's a shame. When I say African teams, I want to even North Africa for the But look, I was making this argument yesterday. Look at the infrastructure in Qatar, in Dubai, the setup of Aspire Academy, the facilities, the putting up in Qatar. And before the World Cup, the plan in place to get a team because of football nation. So the infrastructure in Qatar, the facilities, the policies, the developmental plans of Qatar. If Nigeria per se is able to get a fraction of what Qatar have been able to put down since 2002 in terms of football developmental projects from grassroots, if a country like say Nigeria or Ghana is able to get a fraction of those facilities now, I'm sure you will see some of the facilities. Aspire Academy in Qatar, they established it around 2002. And the Aspire Academy was established by decree. The Emirate King, or no, and Omo established it, say this is how we want to start our football developmental project. Okay. So I'm saying, say if Nigeria or Ghana gets a fraction, by fraction I mean any percentage, small 20, 10% or 15% or 30% of the developmental projects and facilities and the grand plan of Qatar or Saudi Arabia, no country will be able to stand us in football. But we don't have. They have, but they don't have talent. Yeah. So in Africa, and when I say Africa, generally I'm referring to sub-Saharan Africa in this context. The amount of talent, abundance of talent in Africa here. Now, when we get to the World Cup, we shamelessly cower against teams that normally they should not be able to even play us. What Senegal did yesterday, it still shocks me, but it doesn't shock me because I was always tweeting about the African disease. When we get to the World Cup, these things come to bear. So I'm just going to run through some of the things that I think have been able to undo or has undone Africa at the World Cup. Okay. And Senegal epitomized that in the game against Netherlands yesterday. Look, those of you who watched Senegal and Turkey in 2002, I don't know, but if you remember that game very well, Senegal had beaten France the first game of the competition, Senegal had beaten France. So Senegal had become the giant killers.
Okay.
This was Senegal Turkey. Extra time. Senegal with an opportunity to score a goal or keep the game to penalties. That was the era of the golden goal. Then some general lack of focus. Now, over 100 minutes, that's where Turkey scored. Loss of focus and concentration. And this game, among for Ghana, Uruguay, but this was Africa's best chance to get to the semi-final. Senegal failed Africa on that stage. And because when we get to that stage, what we think is that, Africa has been able to get to the quarterfinal. That's a record for us. I don't think, say, with the kind of talent we have, the potential, when I say talent, the potential, African teams should not be at this level. Look at the graph and the map. African teams, not there at all. So, one thing that I want to dwell on, African teams game management at the World Cup. Sure? At the World Cup, if you read the technical reports, the technical study group at the end of the tournament, this year, there is the like of Sunday Olise, Arsene Wenger, and some top former footballers, Mondragon and co. They forming the technical study group. The kind of things, the thesis they write about teams, almost tactical deployment and strategy. The World Cup is 7 games.
Okay.
So a country like Germany will profile all the teams on an ekobo. A country like Germany will profile all the teams on an ekobo. Only how to go about it. Team way, ne strength in here, ne weakness in here. We are going into this game for just 1 or 2 goals. Our focus will be on 1 goal and defend. If we get 2 goals, bonus. But in this game, we should never ever be swallowed into the fact that we are playing well. They can catch us on the break and score us. In Tisania Manina, you plan, that's game management.
Yeah.
Look, and I was saying about Senegal 2002. Senegal yesterday, you are playing against one of the best teams of the World Cup. One of the best teams in Europe. One of the top coaches in Europe. In Van Gaal. Yeah. Then you have been able to dominate the game for how many minutes?
About
85 minutes. You are playing against Netherlands. A team, a lot of them, they started from under 14. They know the Dutch philosophy with a top coach. Now, what about 85 minutes dominating? At the back of your minds, you are playing this game without your biggest player inside your money. Then you dominate Netherlands for 85 minutes. What should come to your mind in game management?
Just manage the game.
Manage the game.
Yeah.
Because the other 2 teams in the group are Ecuador, Qatar. So when you draw against Netherlands, it should be a great result for you. You can even top the group. So our topic group now, or Wales in US in line.
Yeah.
So 85 minutes. What now? I feel na Sabali any omu fullbacks no. Omo ball Netherlands for this antia eya omo de and omo nyina APM.
Yeah.
And omo jam midfield no. So we should go no time by ya. Now Senegal for the nyina rush, they are going to look for a goal. Not the last game of the group omo here win.
The first game.
This is the first game against the best team in the group. 85 minutes. So
have managed it.
Reorganize your defense. If we don't score, they will not score.
Exactly.
Because already they are not even getting a shot on target. But when the Netherlands, they know Africans. Say, if you give them the opportunity, omube lose focus. Ma omumbo.
Okay. Nenyo mo de.
Udi share your team say they are World Cup no mombo because ye nim say ye they have strength in a good defense wo.
Okay.
Omo do why ye be foil attack no. But mombo omo abeba near the counter attack akoshe omo. And I say the set piece and your mammy no mudinya counter attack and a set piece. Germany for sure Ghana 2. Our World Cup 2014. Goes in a counter attack. Yeah. USA for sure, you know, goes in a set pieces. Yeah. Portugal, the same thing. And your mom mudinya and say we lose concentration. I was at stage, you know, you lose concentration easily. So I know I was very disappointed. Senegal, you could have beaten Netherlands, fine. 85 minutes, to me, share. Or short to Nenko. What do you do? This is a very tactical team, strategic team. An European side or Mabo from under 14, some of them from under 9. They know their philosophy. Now, maybe I lose made for the Mabo Naba, na mending so loss of concentration. This is an African thing. I'll come to Ghana. I'll come down to Ghana, what we need to do. Because the disease of Africa, no? Nigeria in 2018, Obo against Argentina. Okay. At 80 minutes, 1-1. I will bet media progress. Nigeria for whom poor shaking because they are playing against Argentina of Messi and goal Omubebo draw qualify. Say chances. One chance. Argentina call. They coil back. Bonina. Germany for Nyaya or 2010. Somebody should go and watch that game again. Germany Ghana 2010. They also share, you know. Okay. They were so much afraid. Almost share one goal, no. You can go and watch. Almost pass the ball now round. They don't want to go beyond the center line. Ombeko and then 1-2. And almost so a chill because they knew that Ghana a very physical side. And a lot of young players are more running in the team. Game management. They got how many points? 3 points. How many goals? 1 goal. But African teams, you know, they are enticed to play. Like former English coach Glenn Hoddle. Also, they are enticed to play. Yeah. Ivory Coast. In 2010 World Cup, they are enticed to play. Nigeria against Greece. They are enticed to play. As a ball, you are more dominating. World Cup is about management. You need 7 games to win the World Cup for $42 million. Yeah. 7 games, not group league. About 34 matches. 7 games, 7 properly managed games. Game management has become our problem. So Ghana, you share Portugal. Expectation you will low. And you could 70 minutes now. You dominate you or more. Think fast. Yeah. You have South Korea and Uruguay. If you cannot, World Cup, and it's possible to get 3 points and qualify. Yeah. So if you cannot win, don't lose.
Make sure you don't concede at all.
Yeah, in Germany, we were leading them by 2-1. Game management doesn't mean go and defend. Game management means getting fouls in areas a delay with time. Okay. Getting players who are very strong to hold the ball in areas that is not dangerous. African teams lose all that. And when you watch the World Cup, some of these painstaking details you will not see. But just a coach's technical study group, you know, a lot of these things, we just need to be very versed in them, technically. Because games, we should go to Africa, last minute, and now early on, and now set pieces. Ghana playing against Brazil. Now Ghana setting offside traps. I mean, I'm just saying this because teams will lose, definitely. Yes. But then, why is it that no African team has been able to progress past the quarterfinal? The jitteriness, the nervousness and jitteriness, you know, at where? In times where they require complete concentration. That is where the nervousness comes in. Nervousness, no, not players, no, even coaching. Pressure to me talk. I remember the Nigeria coach in 2018. Yes, sir, the pressure was on him after Cisse. Substitutions or Koye. He wants a goal. Or bomb ball against Netherlands into Oyi, a place the more boom. Without the best player. So one key thing, Africa is game management. Game management. Game management. So in Ghana, if you are playing against Portugal, just be clear, say, Portugal, a teamer. You want to go past him in term. So she had another stage are fine. But this stage in there, when you draw a yamau, so you have to go into the game with your target. But every team's target should be that they are not losing. So if at 85 minutes you are not losing against the best team on paper in the group, what do you need to send all your fullbacks? Because you have been enticed. The game has become sweeter, palatable, so you are eating yafu, then your back is there. No, Marshall. You have exposed your rear. Yeah. Because Upese will attack it at a point where you have to manage the game. This is one thing. Watch African teams and how they exit the World Cup. Watch it. Set pieces, last minute goals, concentration, losing concentration at key points in the game. Another thing that I want to touch on, African teams going into the World Cup and relying on individualism, individuality. Okay. Share the World Cup. Germany team now 2014. The German team that won the World Cup in 2014. Who was the star player in the team?
Was it Ozil? He performed very well. My records and the shared the last goal. And I think some regards
from bench.
Yes, from bench.
Okay.
He actually stole the show.
Okay. Okay, Andre Scheller.
Yes.
You remember all the players?
Yeah.
At the World Cup, one of the key things that deprive Africa's progress is reliance on. Some of the African football administrators think, say, once you have big names, you will do well. It doesn't happen. South Korea is coming to the World Cup. They beat Germany, the last edition. Yeah. South Korea, take out Heung Min Son. Tell me one player you know from South Korea.
No one. They play ordinary teams.
They will not rely on him. Even though say Obeshe goes, it is a team. African managers, African administrators. So 3 months to the World Cup, they are looking for players. They are to Senegal. 3 months to the World Cup, African administrators are looking for big name players to naturalize. And this thing, the Europeans have seen and known how to counter Africans because they play because they have big name players. Okay. When you do that, they easily restrict these big name players because I know 2-3 big name players. Okay. They will restrict them. That is where, because all the players are playing to the advantage of the big names.
Yeah.
So Ghana, for instance, going into this World Cup, a lot of people say, oh, when Partey comes, he doesn't perform for Ghana. When Partey is not performing for Ghana. It's only performing because you saw how Salis was performing against Switzerland.
Yeah.
They don't know him. But how do any Kotoso say, Obianya Bona, give it to Partey? Partey is not Messi. They will limit him. When they limit him, your team is dead.
They will map up a good strategy.
You have to get a very good all-round team to participate at the World Cup, including your bench. And you are selecting 26 players for the World Cup. It should not be big names, but an all-round team that in place of this person is there. In place of this person can provide at least 80% replacement.
Equally good ones.
Suit the tactics now. So the World Cup is about an all-round team.
Okay.
T-E-A-M. Team, not individual. But African players, Senegal, I think they failed in 2018 because of money.
Okay.
Everyone wants to pass to money. And when money was limited in the crucial game, they lost out.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for you to progress in the World Cup. No, the big name players will shine in 1 or 2 games. But like I said, you need a team so that in the absence of the big names, the over-reliance on them, and it costs you. So Ghana going into this World Cup, we may be an underdog because a lot of the players are unknown. Yeah. But this is a very good way to also let the African coaches know that the teams that win the World Cup, France in 2018, it was an all-round team. Some of them from bench, Pavamo, any players. Blaisman, you don't even know. Yes. No, Obama be changing game. No, there was Paul Pogba, there was N'Golo Kante, there was Mbappe, Olivier Giroud, and this Griezmann. Everyone is playing at their full capacity. Yeah. That is how you win the World Cup. You can't win the World Cup when only 2 or 3 or 4 of your players are the ones you rely on, from goalkeeping to attack. And this is where Africa lacks. Oh, a very good goalkeeper, bad defense. Oh, a very good defense, bad goalkeeper. Oh, you cannot go to the World Cup like that. You can't. Sometimes we have to be able to sit down and sharpen these rough edges. A very little things, and they deprive Africa a place at the top level in the World Cup. Very little things, very. If you watch all the games, nkayen progressing beyond the quarterfinal. No, Niaman kitten 2010 World Cup for Ghana. At that stage, cool heads, penalty ne bono. Watch Sebastian Abreu, the guy who scored against Ghana. Okay. The last penalty against Ghana, Uruguay. Panenka no Wabosa, they brought him in because of penalty. And Oshelule, strategic. He was brought in for penalties because they thought the game was going on penalty. And he scored. Of course. So great, you know, Yenibi. So we should learn from the other African teams, you know, Omu failure, no, na yemfanko, the over-reliance on big name players, you know, it doesn't help. It won't. They will perform in 1 or 2 games. In the games that they don't perform, you'll be coming home. When the big opponents, you know, they oppress them, they limit these players, the individual players in your team. No, when they limit them, your team is dead. And when I talk about the big game, big names, and winning, you know, a lot of these Europeans, one thing, not Europeans, even South Americans. Okay. Take out Messi, a few of them. Most of the Argentine players, you know, they have played in the Argentine league for at least 2 or 3 seasons. Do you know say name about more than 100 matches, 177 matches or so? Is it 107 or 100 in Brazil?
No, Santos.
No. Oh, Santos. Gebroyosis, more than 64 to 70 games.
The local league.
Local league, you know. So this is something that we don't do. It's difficult. When I say the big game players, you know, Egypt failure, no. Salah.
Yeah.
When Salah was limited, no. But then, when a lot of the players know the philosophy of the country by playing in the local league, a better local league. I'm not talking about rubbish local league. Local league that is well organized at least. And they know, said this is how the country wants to play. This is how we all go through the national academy. This is the level of play that we want from under 17 to the senior level. Yenim team be our strength and weaknesses. We don't have it in Africa. So in Africa, we go and pick this one from here. We go Italian league. We go way. Na sanfa managers are. Ebi ono players no onimo bia. Afe na yeba fie with local managers are. Omunim Ghana betima kofa Serbia coach. Na the tactics aba. Na oba be fa Ghana players are. Obi abo different league ni different time. These things, you know, you can't go to the World Cup and gel well and win it. Not even winning, but to even do well. How can South Korea be a better team, have a better record at the World Cup than Africa with all the potential we have? I think we have been very shameless. It's an embarrassment. Because the players play in leagues in Europe, they do well. We have star men who could have been able to put Africa on the map in terms of the World Cup. Very, very little things. Psychological barrier. You need to be born. You won't pray. You rush it. We are always rushing. The fact that we are playing against an European team, this team is big. They don't care. And mediocrity, we win 1 or 2 games and say one of the only 3 teams in Africa to have gone to the. It is not enough. That's what I'm saying. We do a lot of things haphazardly. We don't plan for anything. If we have a fraction of what Qatar have, we should be able to do well. But who is going to bail the cat? Why not? Or Coca, the elephant in the room? Who is going to invest? Always short-term successes. These things will help us. So Ghana going into the game against Portugal, we have put the team together. Let's avoid some of these things. Yabobolo, Ghana is playing well against Portugal. 70% possession. In the second half, 10 shots on target. When you have not scored 2 against them, 3, with 5 minutes to go, you are not done. And so don't be drawn or swallowed into the feeling that you are playing well, let's go or attack. Sometimes Uruguay were playing for a draw in the game, 2010. Why were they playing for a draw? They wanted to take us to a point where Africans will lose concentration, and we lost. Why do we lose the concentration?
Play to enticement.
We have to manage and say, the management of the game is not only on the pitch. We have to be managing our game and a strategy going into the World Cup. Okay. We are going to play against Portugal, who are far more stronger than us. What do we need in that game? What do we need against Uruguay? How do we play them? Which is their strength? Which is their weakness? Aerially, and answer Hefa. Who is going to counter them in aerial? Netherlands have brought a goalkeeper, Andreas Nopet, the tallest goalkeeper in the competition. There are Jasper Scheles and other goalkeepers there. But this coach, what decided say, you know, some coaches like Van Gaal, the pragmatism is there.
Yeah.
Pragmatist. Goalkeeper no more. The tallest, Nensa, and our defense are very strong. So they will be able to block balls. So in the event that they are not able to block, far, but the goalkeeper is taller enough to be able to stretch, and now you be against Senegal at the far end of the post because of the height. And this is the same Louis Van Gaal or the team crew or preparing for penalties alone. These are some of the things. You have to be strategic. Who does this? Who is going to do this? Who will do that? Who knows how to do this better? In this game, this guy is better. So who will be able to be able to deploy him here, to counter this, to foil this? These are some of the basic things. Yeah, selected 11 players to go on the pitch to try and play. And then we become enticed. Little things that Africans don't pay attention to. And also, the lack of concentration stems from the fact before the game, money. A lot of the African teams go into tournament. I have never heard from any other continent, be it Asia or Europe, that players are fighting in the World Cup because of money. Say they will not play. It happened before. Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana, when they have the best of potential, their mindset is always on money. Winning bonus. So they winning bonus, so they want to win. They don't want to win the ultimate. Winning bonus, so they want to win against Senegal when they need a draw. Win against Netherlands. Winning bonus, but not the ultimate. So money, infighting, maladministration. People don't know what they are about. Then we go there with all the potential and disgrace ourselves. If we are able to do this little things that Aliou Cisse yesterday did, Senegal. Now they have to win all the games against Ecuador. Okay. Meanwhile, you have 1 point. And I have 4 minutes to the end of the game. 1 point. Who defend? Who they not defending, but strengthen your midfield and be able to play the ball around, not attacking them. Play it around. If they come and get enticed, you have sharp wingers to be able to take them on counter. This is what they've been doing to us. Corner, free kick, counter attack. All the goals against Africa, 80% of them counter, free kick, corner kick. Then they score us in some event. Then last minute they know say Africans will be shaking. If we get the little things right, The big ones like facilities and infrastructure, we can't. Finance, we don't. Corruption will kill us. But the little things in the tournament, 7 games, manage it well. First 3 games, how do I navigate my way to the next stage? This game, this team, Amiko Shiano round 16, let's sit down and profile them. Some are using computers, to do all these things. Yeah, the match analysts and all that. We think that we have to get top people to do this for us, and Africa will do well.
Sure.
And this is just by the by. One important thing about Kamamfonyini. Why Africa doesn't do well. The World Cup, you need to play like 2. Germany was in 2010. They came in 2014 to win it. In 2006, they were in the semi-final. Yeah. So consistently, they were growing. The confidence was coming. They won it. France came 2010, disaster. 2014, then 2018, they won it. You keep a core of the team. In Africa, age fraud, especially our side. Age fraud. So in 2018, Nigeria had the youngest team in the 32-team tournament. In 2010, Ghana had the youngest team. 2014, Ghana had the youngest team. 2006, Ghana had the youngest team. 2022, Ghana had the youngest team. So it implies by this, the implication is that if you have the youngest team and you don't even win, the players are going to be there because if their age is 24, by next 4 years they are 28. By next 4 years they are 32. So 32 no. Uruguay for 5 players from 2010. 5. Our mobile. Yeah. Mobile for how many years? 12 years. Yes. 12 solid years. Uruguay, they have 5 players from the 2010 team. How many do we have? They. Yes. I don't want to breach.
Correct age.
Say Fernando Muslera. Yeah. Olele a goalkeeper's trainer. So we say that we have the youngest team. In most of the World Cups, Africans have the youngest team. So if you are 23 average and you have the youngest team, if South Korea for the youngest team by next 4 years, you will see like 9 to 10 of them in the team. Yeah. Ghana will present a young team 2022. In 2026, Mexico, Canada, USA, only 2. Then 19 have retired. Then we bring in new young players again.
Youngest team view.
Then we go back as youngest team. Yeah. So if we had the youngest team in 2006, by 2010, how many of them were in the team? They were on the bench.
Yeah.
Stephen Appiah, Sulemuntari,
Derek
Boateng. Yeah. The youngest team in 2006, they were on the bench. So the age fraud, in a long sense, it destroys the plan. You say you are young. You are 24 in 2002. So in 2006, you should be 28 at your peak. Yes. So we are sending you again. You have the exposure from the previous tournament. Then you are retiring. Why are you retiring?
Age fraud.
So some of these things, but this is a long-term thing that we can do. But the short-term ones are the very little ones that are game mismanagement.
Depending on
lack of concentration, over-reliance on big names that we think that once you have players, we'll go Germany, this guy plays in Arsenal, this guy play here. Once we have big names, so you are going to play against South Korea. Only Son Heung-min and 1 or 2 of them, one guy in German Bundesliga. Only 2 or 3 of them. All the other players are playing in the South Korea, the K-League. But you will see them. They are going. They don't have talent. Arabs, they don't have talent. We have abundant. Look at African players of African descent in this competition. Germany were like 10 players born in players who have can trace their ancestry to Africa. Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, all in German teams. Look at France. Yeah. All the players who won for France, like 80% of them, some of them were born in Africa. Some trace their ancestry. But then what they go through, age is correct. Everything, and they know the system of play of the team, so they win. But the same team with Africa, they cannot win. So we have to be careful if we want to go to the World Cup. Fine, yes, sir, we will continue wasting money, wasting people's time and all that. We will go and play, but it hurts because we are not Asia. We have talent in abundance. Yeah. All the teams playing in this competition, Qatar, with the exception of South Americans who also have talents. South America for they are like us. They have talent, so they don't go anywhere searching. Qatar or Ghana ni. US one Ghanaian.
Even Netherlands.
Cody Gakpo.
Yes.
He's from Volta region
yeah.
and Togo. The Osher Senegal for now. Then there is Memphis Depay, whose father is a Ghanaian.
And even US crowd.
In US, yes. There is Yunus,
yeah.
whose mother and father, the parents are Ghanaians. There are some in other teams, a lot of them. But those same players, if you bring them, then the nyama disease. So Otuado and team, it is not about the big things, very little details. And let's see what happens this time. Thank you very much.